Now, fat grams, just to reiterate again, if you wanted to just count fat grams, women, again, need about 50 grams of fat a day, or 10 to 12 grams of fat per meal, if you were going to break it up per the meal, and less than 3 grams of fat per snack is really our ultimate goal. Now, for men, about 60 grams of fat per day, and that would break into about 12 to 15 grams of fat per meal, and about less than 3 grams of fat per snack. So again, these are different ways that you can look at your meal-to-meal basis, or you can add them up all day. Carbohydrates, again, if you wanted to use carbohydrate counting as a method for weight management, although I don't ever recommend just counting carbohydrates for weight management because you don't want to ignore the calories or the fats. 45 grams per meal for women on general, and 60 grams per meal for men, with 15 to 30 grams per snacks is generally the recommendation. So I'm going to show you another aspect of the food label that sometimes we don't look at, and that's the ingredients. Ingredients are listed in order of, what is the most, what are most of these products made of. So here you'll see this product, the first ingredient is a whole wheat and a wheat flour. Now when it says whole wheat, that means it's a whole grain product. When it says wheat flour, that means it's a refined product. But it's a nice thing to look at, to kind of look over your first few ingredients on your label to get an idea of what you're actually eating. This gives you an example of a cookie, for example. And on this cookie, you'll actually see up there on the ingredients label, it says organic pastry flour, and in parentheses it says organic whole grain white wheat. And that truly is actually a whole grain flour that they use. Now next, underneath that, it says organic evaporated cane juice, and I've been getting a lot of questions about that. Basically, that's sugar. So it's not exactly the same as sugar, but it basically has the same nutritional value, and it's basically sugar. But really, you shouldn't be too surprised because it's a cookie and not necessarily on your top list of nutritional value. But that's how you can use that information to look at the ingredients list to determine what most of your food is made out of. So this is one that I really like to look at. Funny thing about this is you're not going to find a label on your fruits. You're not going to find a label on your vegetables. So just keeping in mind, this is a food label for an apple. And this apple has 80 calories. Now, if your goal is to aim for 100 calories or less for a snack, this would fit right in there. And it would be a great, look at this, all these things that we said to limit up here at the top, the fat, the cholesterol, the sodium, which we're supposed to be limiting, they're all zeros. The carbohydrate, if you're trying to count carbohydrates, your goal is less than 30 grams per snack. And guess what? You're at 22 grams. So a great example of a snack food, and look at the fiber. There's 5 grams in that food, which is a good source of fiber. So that's kind of a good snack to think about. Another good one, here's a nutrition facts for carrots. And this is a 7-inch long carrot, and you can see once again, look at all of the things at the top that are zeros. Your carbohydrate is actually very low. It's only 7 grams, and your calories are only 30. So have a couple of them. Are you busy and find little time to plan meals? Do you enjoy eating a variety of foods and are tired of diets that restrict certain foods or food groups? Are you trying to lose weight but are tired of counting calories? If you answered yes to these, then we have an answer for you. The plate method allows you to plan meals quick and easy. It actually is a meal planning method that portions your food out for you, so you're not counting calories. And it actually allows you to include a variety of foods. So let me show you how it works. The plate method starts with a 9-inch plate. The first thing you do when you look at your 9-inch plate is you divide it in half. You take a line and put it halfway through. Half of your plate you want to fill with non-starchy vegetables. Then you take the other half of your plate and you put a quarter, and a quarter of your plate is going to be filled with grains, beans, and starchy vegetables. With the other side of your plate, meat and meat alternatives. Then you have two sides that are also included. One is a side of fruit. The other is a side of milk. As you can see, with the plate method, you're actually including every food group, but in portioned amounts that help you to lose weight, help you to feel more satisfied, and it's easy to plan. So now let me show you some samples using real food. What I have here is a 9-inch plate in front of me that I've already portioned for you. You take half the plate and you portion it with non-starchy vegetables. Here I've added carrots. You could certainly add greens, green beans, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, any of your non-starchy vegetables. Then you take a quarter of your plate, and that's a place for grains or starchy vegetables. Here I have mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes, a serving size of most of your grains, using a measuring cup, is approximately a half a cup. So as you can see, by using the 9-inch plate, I've actually portioned those into a half a cup serving size. Sometimes people do like to use measuring cups, and if you want to, a half a cup measuring cup as a serving spoon can be a useful tool. Then I've taken a quarter of my plate and I've portioned out my meat, preferably lean meats. This is turkey, and this is in a serving size of 3 ounces. For most people, about 3 ounces is an appropriate serving. And as you can see, it takes up about a quarter of my plate. Then I've added on my plate method 2 sides. This is a half a cup of canned fruit. If you use fresh fruit, something like apples, watermelon, berries, it's going to be about a cup amount, or about the size of a tennis ball, or the size of a woman's fist. And then on the other side, I've added my 1 cup of milk. And notice it is 1 cup, not 1 cup. So, when planning your milk, make sure that you first measure your glasses at home to determine where 1 cup hits your glasses. For example, if I put this milk into this glass, my level only comes to here. But this is the appropriate size, not up to the top. So now let me show you why we use the 9-inch plate. On this plate, if you look at this plate, I've portioned again half my plate. But this is the same amount of vegetables that was in my original plate. Then I've added the mashed potatoes, which again are about a half a cup amount. And I also have about 3 ounces of protein. But what you will see is a difference between what it looks like on the plate. If you start out with a larger plate, you have a lot more space on your plate, which gives you the impression that you don't have enough of a serving. So using your 9-inch plate is a very important part of the plate method. Okay. That also includes bowls. This right here is a serving of ice cream, which is actually about a half a cup of ice cream. If I take that same half a cup of ice cream and I place it in a standard size bowl, that doesn't look like very much. So making sure that you use a smaller bowl is going to help you to feel like you're actually getting a great serving size. The other thing you should try to use would be measuring teaspoons and tablespoons. Now on the plate method, it doesn't give you specific instructions about adding fats to your food. But let's say, for example, you wanted to add some gravy to your potatoes. Using a tablespoon to add that gravy would make sure that you were using the proper amount. If you were to use a salad, if you wanted to have a salad as part of your meal, using a tablespoon would also be the correct amount. Or if you wanted to add margarine or butter, a teaspoon is the appropriate amount. So having those tools available will help you be more successful.